Welcome! Today we're making something small, meaningful, and completely handmade. A Valentine's Day card with crocheted flowers on the front. If you're new to crochet, you're in the right place. This project uses just two simple stitches, the chain stitch and the half double crochet. By the end of this video, you'll not only have a finished card, but you'll also understand how a few simple stitches can turn into something special. Let's get started. The materials you'll need are what you might expect. You'll need yarn, and for this project I have selected a simple acrylic number 4 weight yarn. I've selected it because I have a lot of it left over from other projects. It's inexpensive and readily available. You can find it on Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Amazon. Many other outlets will have it. You'll also need a hook that's appropriate for the size of the yarn. And in this case, it's 5mm hook. You'll also need a scissor. Now, some things that we'll need specifically for the card part are a magic marker or a pen. I've used a green one here because I thought a green stem would be nice for the flowers. You will need a glue. I've used a glue stick because it's so much easier to apply it sparingly with a glue stick, and that's all you'll need is a tiny bit. And then, of course, you'll need some kind of material for the card, and I've just used a simple cardstock here, 8.5 by 11, and I folded it in half. Now, I am gearing this video for complete beginners, people who don't even know how to hold the hook or to hold the yarn. Those of you who are familiar with that and are comfortable with that can just look in the description below, find the timestamp, and jump ahead to the part that says where we're going to start crocheting. So here we are. We've got our yarn, we've got our hook, and how do we get the yarn onto the hook? We're going to make a simple slip knot. So lay your yarn with the tail end over your palm and go around either 3 or 4 fingers and make a loop. And you can just slip that off your hand, and I pinch where the loop joins at the top. And then I drop the working end of the yarn behind. And you can see how I've got a working end of the yarn behind this loop. And then I take my hook and I just go through there, and I can pull on both ends of my yarn and then tighten this up by pulling on the working end. So let's do that one more time. Lay this across your palm with the tail end down. Bring it behind and around and form a loop. And just pinch that loop and pull it off your fingers. Now drop the working end behind till it intersects that circle, that loop. Put your hook underneath. You can also just pinch it with your fingers and pull it up. I always use the hook, and then pull on both ends of this yarn, the tail end and the working end. Pull down and then tighten it up by pulling on the working end of the yarn. And now we're attached. We've got our hook, we've got our yarn, and we're attached. Before we can get going, we have got to learn how to hold the yarn. We'll take our hand palm down and scoop up between our little finger and our ring finger. And I've got maybe 3 inches here between where it goes into my fingers and where this hook is. And then I turn my hand over, still trying to keep about 3 inches, and take my pointer finger and slip it under. So here you see I have my hook and a taut yarn over the top of my pointer finger. And then it goes under my ring finger and my tall finger, and it goes over my little finger. and then I just turn it perpendicular to the table or to my lap, however you're crocheting, and I'm ready to go. I will pinch this slip knot between my tall finger and my thumb as I'm crocheting and sort of pull it away from the hook so it gives me a nice loop on the hook, a nice big loop on the hook, because you're going to have to pull the hook and some more yarn through that little loop on your hook. And you want it to look like a teardrop, just like this. So it will help when you're pulling with your tall finger and your thumb, pulling down here like this. Now there are two ways to even hold this hook. I use the knife method, and this looks like I am ready to cut food with my knife. Some people use the pencil method, and that's just the reverse. You put it on top of your hand here, just like you're ready to write. So for the knife method, you'll put it inside your hand and put your pointer finger on top of the shaft and rest your thumb on the side of the shaft, and you're ready to go. Let's try holding the yarn one more time, getting into position. You will have your hand, turn your palm up and slip under here. Then take your palm and do it face down. And then take your pointer finger, slip it under. Now watch how we have the yarn over the pointer finger, under the next two fingers, and over the little finger. And then I'll just turn my hand perpendicular to that, take my tall finger and my thumb and pinch this yarn, and we're ready to start crocheting. Now we have our complete beginners all set up, and hopefully our more experienced crocheters have joined us, and let's start making this very simple flower. We're going to do a chain stitch. And to do a chain stitch, you will just take your hook and go toward the palm of your hand. You see right here in this cavity that's made by your fingers and your thumb. You're going to go down into that cavity, and you're going to go back away from yourself and pull up. And now you have yarn over the hook. We have the loop on the hook, and we have yarn over the hook, and that's called yarn over. You'll see that all the time. And we're going to pull it through our loop that was on the hook. And this is where we needed that lovely teardrop shape. And it went through. We've made our first chain. Now, for brevity, we're going to do a chain of 10. The size of your flower will depend on the length of the chain, and I'll show you later what each size will look like. But for this, to make it more brief on the video, we'll do 10. I've done one. I'm going to go down, back, up, and do the second one. Down, back, up, pull through, and that's my third one. Now you'll notice as I'm pulling through, I reposition my tall finger and my thumb to hold on to this crocheted piece here, this slip knot and the rest of the crocheted piece, because it's so much easier to work with. And I slide it down a little bit so the size of the hook helps to make that teardrop size so that I can pull through. So I go down, back, up, pull through. See, I have a nice teardrop. So let's make another nice teardrop. Down, back, up, and we're going to pull through. Down, back, up, and we're going to pull through and move my fingers up, push it down a little bit. It makes a nice big teardrop. Now, I've been talking to you and I haven't been counting, and we wanted 10. So this is how you recognize your stitches and count your stitches. Let me stretch this out so you can see. We had the loop that was on the hook. And then under the loop are a series of V's. Each chain stitch made a V. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've made 5. So let's make 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 10 chain stitches now. I've made these with 10, with 20, with 30, but we're going to show you how to do this with 10. So we're going to go back. You always work back and forth in crochet. We worked this way, and now we're going to work this way. So make sure our hands, our yarn, and our hook are in the proper position. And we're going to make a half double crochet. And the way we do that is to do our yarn over. So we do yarn down, back, up. Remember, that's how we got our yarn over. And then we're going to go into the very first chain on our hook. And to do that, we have to pull almost all the way, so your shaft and the tip there are going to hold it from slipping off. We're going to go all the way, and we're going to go in to that first stitch. Make sure I'm doing that correctly. Into the very first stitch. Whoop. Here we go. And then do yarn over. And I will have 3 loops on my hook. You see that there's 3 loops on this hook? I will do one more yarn over, and I'll pull it through all 3 of those loops. And I will have to be pinching this material underneath the hook with my tall finger and my thumb and pulling down in order to get those loops big enough to go through. Now we're going to put another half double crochet in the exact same stitch. This is going to increase and cause our yarn project to be able to be curled. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to go down, back, up to get a yarn over. Then we're going to go through the same stitch. It's easier to see the second time because you've made it bigger. Yarn over, pull it through until you see 3 loops on that hook. Make sure your loops are big enough. Make sure you're pulling down to make them nice. Now we're going to do another yarn over, down, back, up, and we're going to pull through all 3 of those stitches. And we're going to repeat this for the next 9 of our chain stitches. So here we go. Yarn over, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to do yarn over and pull through all 3. Yarn over, go into that same stitch. We're doing 2 in each stitch, remember? Yarn over, pull through. I've got 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to do yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all 3. So now in my first 2 chain stitches, I actually have 4 half double crochets. Now in my next stitch, I'm going to work 2 more. Yarn over, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through to make 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now I'm going to go into the very next chain stitch, yarn over, go into that chain stitch, yarn over, pull up till I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. I'm going to do another half double crochet in that same chain stitch, yarn over, go into that same chain stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I have 2 in that stitch. Yarn over, into the next chain stitch, pull up, over, to that stitch, pull up, yarn over, go through all 3, yarn over, into the next chain stitch, over, go through. I have to do my second one in that chain, over, through, yarn over. You have to keep adjusting because your yarn gets, your yarn ball gets a little tight. So now 2 more chain stitches in the next stitch, yarn over, second one in that stitch, we'll go to the next stitch to do 2, stitch. That's the first one in that stitch. And here's the second one in that stitch. Oops, I think I must have done something wrong because I see 4 loops. Things happen. You have to be prepared to just pull it out a little bit and start over. So let's do a yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull through. Okay, now I've got 3. Now yarn over, pull through all 3. Next chain stitch, yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over. Now I have 3. I did it right this time. Second one in this chain. And you can see the way this is coiling. That's because we are adding a stitch for every stitch we did in the previous row. Now I'm in my last chain stitch. And we need 1 more half double crochet. And I did my last half double crochet. Now I'm going to start to make a chain stitch. I'll start like this, pull it up, take my scissor, cut that off, and then go ahead and pull that so that it makes a knot. And in this case, this isn't clothing or a toy somebody's going to be playing with. It's going to be glued together and glued down, so we can actually cut off this excess yarn right here and not have to weave in ends or anything like that. And we're left with this little coil here. And this is a 10 stitch coil, remember, 10 chain stitches. And you can just lay this down and coil around, and look, you have your very first little flower. And this is the 10 chain stitch flower. If you did 20, you'd have a bigger flower. This is the 10 I did right here. And these are the 20. And I have also crocheted a 30 here. Let me put this into the flower shape. And we just kind of spread it out a little bit, because we want it to be flat, not totally flat, but we want it to be flat enough to crochet, to lay our crocheted flower out on a card. And so you can see how big a 30 stitch would be. Here's our little 10. Here's our 30. These are our 20s. And you will place those then on your card however you want them. You can see I put mine on here like this. Now, to get those on there, you'll want to glue. Let me show you on the little one. You want to apply the glue stick to this area here, not to the edges around here, but to more the inside of this, all around here. Apply your glue stick to this inside edge, and then as you coil it up, it'll stick together. And you can just place your glue directly on the cardstock and glue it down. That's what I did with my flowers right here. Now, this is the time where you would add your stems. I just took my magic marker and I just drew carefully. I'm not very artistic, but I drew these stems. Be very careful, because I used a brand new magic marker and it had so much ink that actually went through. But I know you'll be wiser than I was. And you can use a pen or very sparingly your magic marker. And write your title, your sentiment on the front here, and a sentiment inside. And before we finish the card, I want to share something with you. I've created a printable PDF that includes the exact wording I used on the front of this card and the sentiment inside. If you'd like a copy, just type the word flowers in the comments and I'll make sure to get the PDF to you so you can print it and use it again in the future, either for this project or other handmade cards. Now, take a look at what you've made. With just 2 stitches, you created a crocheted flower and turned it into a one-of-a-kind Valentine. That's the magic of crochet. Simple techniques coming together to make something meaningful. I hope this project will give you confidence to keep practicing and remind you that handmade always matters.